We know that you are CEO and leader of Avertium, and we have some idea of how great is your journey with your company. But today we would like to talk how you are supporting your clients in gaining clarity in their cybersecurity journey. So, what is your opinion? What is the link that is missing in cybersecurity that will get us to better results?
So, it's interesting is from a business perspective is one demystifying security from an industry perspective. I think a lot of times is the flash or the stories that we tell create a lot of fear or uncertainty or doubt, and it's a push that has been out there to try and get the budget filled, right? And there's two things. There's a picture that I always think in the back of my mind, and it's two mason jars. One has 3 or 4 pennies in it, and it says your security budget before a breach, and then the one on the other side is overflowing with coins, and it says your security budget after a breach. And I think the better that we get at tying security to the business enablement, the more that we can align faster, quicker enablement of where things are heading to. So I think that missing link for cybersecurity is tying it to business enablement. Now, I think the last year has started some of that because enablement was about remote workforce. It was about, shutting down offices and your entire organization all of a sudden went remote overnight. So I think that opportunity, or at least we're moving in that direction about business enablement.
Sure. Perfect. And maybe can you share some interesting story with us about implementation practices that illustrates the benefits that you are bringing?
Yeah, so I think it's interesting. Is that first is maybe a couple of stats that I think are important. Right? Is the link, so I want to tail on that link because part of this is we're moving into this world of threat as a service. Right? Let's get rid of ransomware as a service, and let's crime as a service, or really threat as a service this is now an enterprise. So this used to be, groups out there that were attacking environments for specific reasons. That shift also is changing where, if the numbers are right that are being reported in 2020, threat as a service was about a $1.5 trillion marketplace as crime as a service. So it's a revenue generator today, and true business people. These have, live call centers. People will help you pay your ransoms. And the government now is in the middle of this too, recognizing how big this is. Two, if the numbers predicted for 2021, which are now estimated at 6 trillion, that means it's a 400% growth rate somewhere in there, but it becomes the 3rd largest economy in the world. So how do we go figure that out as we're going forward to bring things to bear? And now, if you play on that and you talk about the interesting stories, is this threat as a service, there is this belief in the industry is that cyber insurance, the cyber insurance carriers, those names that have cyber insurance have leaked. I heard that actually earlier today from one of the colleagues in this industry. If so, then this is a target group, because why ransom somebody? Why create as a service with somebody who can't pay? And then another story that came out today is wrapped around, you have ransomware as a service, or this threat as a service now starting to play into the stock market. And so you have groups who are shorting the stock market based on a known ransomware attack where they know that the stock is going to dip. So this becomes really interesting because now your points of information. So before it was network, endpoint, end user behavior, but you've now expanded out to this area that potentially is going to give intelligence outside of just the enterprise itself, but the connectivity to the enterprise in the business world.
Absolutely. Vulnerabilities all around us. Perfect. And maybe from the bigger picture, what do you think? What is the big change happening on the market, and why don't all solutions work anymore? What is your perspective?
Human, the change perspective is, I think we've all grasped this over the last 10 years, is tools are part of this, but those same tools, the adversary knows fairly well. They're practicing how things work. So you really have this leapfrog thing happening, or good versus bad on a regular basis. The human element is this last mile of being able to interpret information, data, and make sense of it. And so just like the adversary, there isn't a robot out there attacking environments. It's humans leveraging tool sets to figure out how to get in. You've got to have the humans on the other side in the middle of this. It's just so important that your teams continually to evolve, grow, and rapidly change they can't be stagnant in their training and education. They've got to continue to move and evolve as well. And so it's important for us as business leaders to make sure they have the right tools, the right information, the things that make them better. They have to know their practice and be able to be great at their craft to do the right things for the business. And I think that also excites those people to be part of the organizations they're a part of when you're investing them in as well.
Great. Perfect, Jeff. Thank you very much for this interview and for sharing your experience, knowledge. Thank you very much for your time.
My pleasure. Thank you.